What if I told you that the secret to earning genuine respect from women and everyone around you isn't about being louder, more aggressive, or trying harder to please? What if the answer lies in something much more powerful, the ancient art of setting boundaries? Today, we're diving deep into 5 transformative boundaries rooted in 2,000-year-old Stoic wisdom that will completely change how people perceive and interact with you. These aren't just relationship tips. They're life-changing principles that Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus used to command respect in the most challenging circumstances imaginable. But before we begin this journey together, I want you to do something. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell for Meets Wisdom, because we're building a community of individuals who choose growth over comfort, wisdom over ignorance, and self-respect over people-pleasing. And if this video transforms your perspective, which I promise it will, show your appreciation with a like. Your engagement helps us reach more people who need to hear this message. Now, let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. When was the last time you said no to someone and felt completely at peace with your decision? When did you last walk away from disrespect without feeling guilty? If you're struggling to answer, you're not alone. Most people have never learned the art of healthy boundaries, and it's costing them their self-respect, their relationships, and their peace of mind. Boundary number 1, the boundary of emotional independence. Let's start with the most crucial boundary of all, the boundary of emotional independence. This is where most people fail before they even begin. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This isn't just philosophical poetry. It's a practical blueprint for earning respect. Here's what emotional independence looks like in action. You don't need constant validation, approval, or emotional support from others to feel secure in yourself. You don't change your mood based on how someone else treats you. You don't lose sleep over someone's opinion of you. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're in a conversation with someone you're attracted to. They make a comment that could be interpreted as critical or dismissive. The emotionally dependent person immediately shifts into damage control mode, explaining themselves, seeking reassurance, or worse, becoming defensive. But the Stoic, they remain internally calm because their emotional state isn't dependent on external validation. This is what Epictetus meant when he said, "Wealth consists in not having great possessions, but in having few wants." Replace wealth with emotional strength and possessions with external validation, and you've got the formula for unshakable confidence. But here's where it gets interesting, and this is crucial. Emotional independence doesn't mean emotional unavailability. You can be supportive, caring, and emotionally present without being emotionally dependent. The difference is that you choose to give your emotional energy rather than desperately needing to receive it. Women respect this boundary because it signals several attractive qualities: maturity, self-awareness, and strength. When you're not needy for their approval, they can relax and be themselves around you. They don't have to manage your emotions on top of their own. Practical application. Starting today, practice this simple exercise. Before reacting to someone's words or behavior, pause and ask yourself, is my emotional response based on reality or on my need for their approval? Then choose your response consciously rather than reacting automatically. Remember the Stoic proverb, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." When someone tries to disturb your emotional peace, the most powerful response is to remain undisturbed. Comment below with the word independence if you've struggled with emotional dependency and are ready to break free from it. I want to see how many of you are committed to this transformation. Boundary number 2, the boundary of time and availability. The second boundary that commands immediate respect is the boundary of your time and availability. This is where the rubber meets the road in relationships, and it's where most people completely sabotage themselves. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote, "Nothing, to my way of thinking, is a better proof of a well-ordered mind than a man's ability to stop just where he is and pass some time in his own company." This wisdom is pure gold in our hyper-connected world. Here's the harsh truth. When you're always available, always responding immediately, always saying yes to every request, you're not being kind. You're being disrespectful to yourself and teaching others to disrespect you too. Let me tell you about the psychology behind this. Human beings are naturally attracted to what's valuable and scarce. When your time is freely given, without any consideration, it becomes worthless in the eyes of others. But when your time is respected and protected, it becomes precious. This doesn't mean playing games or being artificially unavailable. It means having genuine priorities and boundaries around your time. It means understanding that your time is the most valuable resource you have and treating it accordingly. Here's what this looks like practically. You don't immediately respond to every text or call unless it's genuinely urgent. You have specific times when you're available and times when you're not. You don't cancel your plans just because someone else wants your attention. You don't feel guilty for having your own schedule and priorities. Marcus Aurelius practiced this principle even as an emperor. Despite having massive responsibilities, he protected time for reflection, for his philosophical practice, and for his own mental well-being. He understood that being constantly available to everyone made him less effective for everyone. Women respect this boundary because it shows several crucial qualities: self-respect, priorities, and leadership. When you protect your time, you're demonstrating that you have a life worth living, goals worth pursuing, and standards worth maintaining. But here's the deeper principle at work. When you respect your own time, you teach others to respect it too. When you don't respect your own time, you give others permission to waste it. The Stoic time management formula. 1. Identify your core priorities, what truly matters to you. 2. Allocate specific time blocks to these priorities. 3. Protect these time blocks as you would protect your most valuable possessions. 4. Communicate your availability clearly and without guilt. 5. Stick to your boundaries consistently. Remember Epictetus' teaching? First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. If you want to be someone whose time is valued and respected, you must first value and respect it yourself. The key insight here is that people will respect your time exactly as much as you respect it. No more, no less. Comment time boundary below if you recognize that you've been too available and it's been costing you respect. Let's see who's ready to reclaim their time. Boundary number 3, the boundary of values and principles. The third boundary that transforms how people see and respect you is the boundary of your values and principles. This is perhaps the most powerful boundary of all because it touches the very core of who you are. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "How much trouble he avoids who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does, but only to what he does himself." This is the essence of living by your own moral compass rather than bending to social pressure. Here's what most people don't understand. Every time you compromise your values to please someone else, you lose a piece of your self-respect. And when you lose self-respect, others lose respect for you too. It's an inevitable psychological law. Let me share a story that illustrates this perfectly. Imagine you're with a group of people and they start engaging in gossip or behavior that goes against your principles. The people pleaser joins in, laughs along, maybe even contributes to fit in. But the person with strong value boundaries, they either redirect the conversation, excuse themselves politely, or simply don't participate. They don't make a big show of their disagreement, they just remain true to themselves. Who do you think earns more respect in that situation? The answer is obvious, but here's why. People intuitively understand that if you'll compromise your values for their approval, you'll compromise them for anyone's approval. You become unreliable, unpredictable, and ultimately untrustworthy. Seneca taught, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." Sometimes, earning respect means ending your pattern of people-pleasing and beginning a new pattern of principle-centered living. This boundary shows up in countless ways. Not laughing at jokes that demean others, even if everyone else is laughing. Not participating in activities that violate your moral code, regardless of social pressure. Speaking truthfully, even when lies would be more convenient. Standing up for your beliefs, even when it's unpopular. Choosing integrity over immediate gratification. Women respect this boundary because it signals reliability, character, and strength. They know that if you'll stand up for your principles, you'll also stand up for them when it matters. If you have the courage to be disliked for your values, you have the courage to protect what's important. But here's the crucial distinction. Having strong value boundaries doesn't mean being judgmental or preachy toward others. It means being clear about your own standards without imposing them on everyone else. It's about quiet confidence, not loud superiority. The Stoics understood that you can't control other people's choices, but you can always control your own. As Epictetus said, wealth consists in not having great possessions, but in having few wants. Similarly, strength consists not in controlling others, but in controlling yourself. How to identify and strengthen your value boundaries. 1. Write down your top 5 core values: honesty, loyalty, growth, etc. 2. Identify situations where you typically compromise these values. 3. Decide in advance how you'll handle these situations differently. 4. Practice small acts of value-based decision-making daily. 5. Notice how your self-respect grows as you align your actions with your values. Remember this powerful Stoic principle: the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. When your thoughts, values, and actions are aligned, you radiate an authentic confidence that commands respect. Write principles in the comments if you know you need to strengthen your value boundaries. Let's build a community of people committed to principle-centered living. Boundary number 4, the boundary of personal space and autonomy. The fourth boundary that dramatically increases the respect you receive is the boundary of personal space and autonomy. This goes far beyond physical space, though that's important too, and extends into every area of your life where others might try to control, manipulate, or override your autonomous choices. Epictetus, who knew something about the importance of inner freedom having been a slave, taught, "No one can hurt you without your permission." This isn't victim blaming, it's a recognition that you always have the power to protect your inner sanctuary, regardless of external circumstances. Personal space and autonomy boundaries include the right to make your own decisions without constant justification, the right to have your own opinions without being argued out of them, the right to your own physical and emotional space, the right to say no without providing elaborate explanations, the right to change your mind, the right to have interests and pursuits that are entirely your own. Here's where most people go wrong. They think they need to justify their boundaries, explain their decisions, or convince others of their right to autonomy. This actually weakens your boundaries because it suggests they're up for negotiation. Let me give you a practical example. Someone asks you to do something you don't want to do. The weak response is, "Well, I don't know, I'm pretty busy, and I'm not sure if I'm the right person, and maybe someone else would be better." The strong response is, "No, I won't be able to do that." Period. No justification, no over-explanation, no apology for having your own priorities. Marcus Aurelius practiced this principle even in his position of ultimate power. He understood that true strength comes not from controlling others, but from maintaining sovereignty over your own choices and reactions. This boundary is especially important in romantic relationships. When you maintain your autonomy, your own friends, interests, goals, and identity, you remain attractive and interesting. When you lose yourself in someone else's world, you lose the very qualities that made you attractive in the first place. Women respect this boundary because it shows several crucial qualities: self-confidence and self-worth, the ability to maintain your identity and relationships, emotional maturity and independence, leadership qualities, respect for both your own and others' autonomy. But here's the paradox that many people miss. The more you respect and protect your own autonomy, the more you naturally respect others' autonomy too. Strong boundaries aren't selfish. They're the foundation of healthy relationships. Seneca wrote, "Every slave has a free man inside him. Every free man has a slave inside him." The question is, which one are you feeding with your daily choices? Practical ways to strengthen your autonomy boundaries. 1. Practice making decisions without seeking approval from others. 2. Develop interests and hobbies that are entirely yours. 3. Maintain friendships outside of your romantic relationships. 4. Learn to be comfortable with other people's disapproval. 5. Stop over-explaining your choices and decisions. Remember, respecting your own autonomy teaches others how to respect it too. When you're wishy-washy about your own boundaries, Others will be wishy-washy about respecting them. The Stoic understanding is that external freedom is nice, but internal freedom, the freedom to choose your responses, maintain your values, and direct your own life, is essential. Type autonomy in the comments if you recognize that you've been sacrificing your personal autonomy for others' approval. Let's see who's ready to reclaim their sovereign right to self-direction. Boundary number 5, the boundary of respect and dignity. The fifth and final boundary we're exploring today might be the most important of all, the boundary of respect and dignity. This is your absolute bottom line, the standard below which you will not allow yourself to be treated, regardless of the circumstances or the person involved. Marcus Aurelius, who dealt with everyone from senators to slaves, wrote, "Adapt yourself to the life you've been given, but love the people with whom you share it." Notice the balance here: adaptability in circumstances, but unwavering love and respect for human dignity, starting with your own. This boundary is about recognizing your inherent worth as a human being and refusing to accept treatment that violates that worth. It's about understanding that no relationship, opportunity, or temporary pleasure is worth sacrificing your fundamental dignity. Here's what violations of this boundary look like: name-calling, insults, or deliberate humiliation; manipulation, gaslighting, or psychological abuse; being treated as an option rather than a priority by people who claim to care about you; having your time consistently wasted or disrespected; being lied to, cheated on, or betrayed; being expected to tolerate behavior that you wouldn't engage in yourself. The key insight here is that people will treat you exactly how you allow them to treat you. If you accept disrespectful treatment, you're training people to disrespect you. If you consistently maintain your dignity boundaries, you train people to respect you. Seneca understood this principle deeply. He wrote, "Every man is in bondage to fear who depends upon the whims of fortune. Similarly, every person is in bondage who depends on others' approval so much that they'll accept disrespectful treatment to get it." But here's what's crucial to understand. Maintaining dignity boundaries isn't about being defensive, aggressive, or confrontational. It's about being calm, clear, and consistent. When someone crosses your dignity boundary, you address it directly but without emotional reactivity. For example, if someone speaks to you disrespectfully, instead of escalating with anger or shrinking with shame, you might simply say, "I don't accept being spoken to that way. When you're ready to have a respectful conversation, I'm here." Then you enforce the boundary by removing yourself if necessary. This boundary commands respect because it demonstrates several powerful qualities: unshakable self-worth, emotional maturity and self-control, leadership and strength, clear standards and expectations, the ability to stand up for yourself and others. Women especially respect this boundary because they recognize that if you won't stand up for your own dignity, you probably won't stand up for theirs either. If you don't respect yourself enough to demand respectful treatment, how can they trust you to respect and protect them? Epictetus, who experienced the extremes of both slavery and freedom, taught, "Wealth consists in not having great possessions, but in having few wants." Applied to dignity, this means strength consists not in having everyone's approval, but in needing no one's permission to respect yourself. The Dignity Boundary Protocol. 1. Identify your non-negotiable standards for how you will and won't be treated. 2. Communicate these standards clearly through your actions, not just your words. 3. When boundaries are crossed, address it immediately and calmly. 4. Be prepared to enforce consequences, including ending relationships if necessary. 5. Never compromise your dignity for temporary peace or advantage. Here's the transformative truth. When you consistently maintain your dignity boundaries, you don't just change how others treat you, you change how you see yourself. Your self-respect grows, your confidence strengthens, and your ability to contribute positively to others' lives expands. The Stoics understood that dignity isn't something you earn from others. It's something you claim for yourself and protect with your choices. Remember Marcus Aurelius' wisdom: very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. When you think of yourself as someone worthy of respect and act accordingly, others will too. Comment dignity below if you're committed to raising your standards and protecting your inherent worth. Let's create a community of people who refuse to settle for less than they deserve. The integration, living all 5 boundaries together. Now that we've explored all 5 boundaries individually, let's talk about how they work together to create a life of authentic respect, deep relationships, and unshakable confidence. These boundaries aren't meant to be walls that keep people out. They're meant to be gates that let the right people in while keeping toxic influences at bay. When you master all 5 boundaries, something magical happens. You become incredibly attractive to healthy people and completely unattractive to unhealthy ones. Think about it. Your emotional independence makes you a stable, reliable presence in others' lives. Your time boundaries show that you value yourself and your commitments. Your value boundaries demonstrate character and integrity. Your autonomy boundaries reveal confidence and self-direction. Your dignity boundaries command respect and establish high standards. Together, these create what the Stoics called the citadel of the self, an inner stronghold that no one can breach without your permission. But here's what I want you to understand. These boundaries aren't about being selfish, cold, or difficult. They're about being authentic, self-respecting, and genuinely valuable to others. When you have strong boundaries, you can give more freely because you're not giving from a place of depletion or resentment. Marcus Aurelius lived this integration perfectly. As emperor, he had to make difficult decisions, maintain his principles under enormous pressure, protect his time and energy, and command respect from the most powerful people in the world. Yet he was known for his kindness, wisdom, and genuine care for others. The secret was that his boundaries created space for authentic generosity rather than people-pleasing desperation. Common mistakes and how to avoid them. As you begin implementing these boundaries, you'll face some predictable challenges. Let me help you navigate them. Mistake number 1, being too rigid. Boundaries should be firm but not brittle. They should guide your decisions, not make you inflexible in every situation. The key is consistency in your standards while maintaining adaptability in your methods. Mistake number 2, over-explaining your boundaries. When you over-explain or justify your boundaries, you weaken them. A simple, "No, I can't do that," is more powerful than a 10-minute explanation of why you can't. Mistake number 3, setting boundaries reactively. The best boundaries are set proactively when you're calm and clear thinking, not reactively in the heat of emotion. Take time to think through your standards before you need to enforce them. Mistake number 4, expecting immediate acceptance. People who have been accustomed to crossing your boundaries won't immediately respect your new standards. Some will test you, others will be confused, and a few might become hostile. This is normal and temporary. Mistake number 5, abandoning boundaries when they're inconvenient. The test of your boundaries comes when maintaining them costs you something, a relationship, an opportunity, or temporary peace. This is when they matter most. The Stoic mindset shift. Here's the fundamental mindset shift that makes all of this possible. Stop seeking approval and start seeking alignment. Instead of asking, "Will this make them like me?" start asking, "Is this aligned with who I want to be?" Instead of asking, "How can I avoid conflict?" start asking, "How can I maintain my integrity?" Instead of asking, "What do they want from me?" start asking, "What do I want to contribute?" This shift moves you from a reactive, people-pleasing mindset to a proactive, value-driven mindset. It's the difference between being a thermometer, reflecting the environment around you, and being a thermostat, setting the temperature of your environment. Seneca captured this perfectly. The willing, destiny guides them. The unwilling, destiny drags them. When you proactively set and maintain boundaries, you're guiding your own destiny. When you reactively accept whatever others dish out, destiny drags you wherever it will. The ripple effect. Here's something beautiful that happens when you master these 5 boundaries. You don't just transform your own life, you give others permission to transform theirs. When people see you maintaining healthy boundaries with confidence and kindness, they start to question their own boundaryless patterns. When they see you commanding respect without being disrespectful, they realize it's possible for them too. When they see you living authentically and attracting genuine respect, they become inspired to do the same. You become a living example of what's possible when someone chooses self-respect over people-pleasing, authenticity over approval-seeking, and integrity over convenience. This is the true power of Stoic wisdom. It doesn't just improve your individual life, it elevates everyone around you. Practical implementation plan. Here's your step-by-step plan for implementing these boundaries starting today. Week 1. Awareness. Identify which of the 5 boundaries you struggle with most. Notice when and how you typically violate your own boundaries. Begin catching yourself before you react in boundary-violating ways. Week 2. Small steps. Practice saying no to small requests without over-explaining. Set one specific time boundary and stick to it. Identify your top 3 non-negotiable values. Week 3. Consistency. Apply boundaries consistently across different relationships. Address boundary violations calmly and immediately. Notice how your self-respect changes as you maintain boundaries. Week 4. Integration. Combine all 5 boundaries into your daily life. Evaluate which relationships improve and which become challenging. Adjust your approach based on what you've learned. Remember Epictetus' teaching, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Don't just talk about boundaries, live them. The deeper purpose. Before we conclude, I want to share something important about why these boundaries matter beyond just earning respect from women or anyone else. These boundaries are ultimately about becoming the person you're meant to be. They're about honoring your potential, protecting your energy, and creating space for your authentic self to emerge and flourish. When Marcus Aurelius wrote his Meditations, he wasn't trying to impress anyone or gain approval. He was trying to become the man he knew he could be, someone worthy of his own respect, regardless of what others thought. That's the deeper purpose of boundaries. Not to manipulate others into respecting you, but to become someone genuinely worthy of respect, starting with your own. The respect from others is just a natural byproduct of genuine self-respect. The healthy relationships are just a natural result of being emotionally healthy yourself. The authentic confidence is just the natural expression of living authentically. Final thoughts. As we wrap up this comprehensive exploration of Stoic boundaries, I want to leave you with one final thought from Marcus Aurelius. Confine yourself to the present. Don't overwhelm yourself by trying to transform everything at once. Focus on today. Focus on the next conversation, the next decision, the next opportunity to honor or violate your boundaries. Every single choice you make is either building the person you want to become or tearing them down. Every boundary you maintain is a vote for your future self. Every standard you uphold is an investment in your long-term happiness and self-respect. The path isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. The temporary discomfort of maintaining boundaries is nothing compared to the long-term pain of living without them. Remember, you're not just changing your own life with these principles. You're contributing to a world where healthy boundaries, authentic relationships, and genuine respect are the norm rather than the exception. If this video has given you valuable insights and practical tools for transformation, show your appreciation by hitting that like button. Your engagement helps us reach more people who need to hear this message. And if you're serious about continuing this journey of growth and wisdom, subscribe to Meets Wisdom and hit the notification bell. We're building a community of individuals committed to ancient wisdom for modern living, personal development that actually works, and the courage to live authentically in a world that often rewards conformity. Most importantly, I want to hear from you. In the comments below, share which of these 5 boundaries resonates most with you and why. Are you struggling with emotional independence, time boundaries, value boundaries, personal autonomy, or dignity and respect? Use these keywords in your comments so we can build a supportive community. Comment independence if emotional boundaries are your focus. Comment time boundary if protecting your time is your priority. Comment principles if value boundaries need strengthening. Comment autonomy if personal space and self-direction are your goals. Comment dignity if respect and self-worth are your focus areas. And if you're committed to implementing all 5 boundaries, comment Stoic boundaries and let's connect with others on the same transformational journey. Remember, the Stoics believe that philosophy isn't just about thinking, it's about living. These boundaries aren't just concepts to understand, they're practices to embody. Your future self is counting on the choices you make today. Choose boundaries, choose self-respect, choose authentic relationships, choose the path of the Stoic. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and keep choosing wisdom over convenience. This is Meets Wisdom, and I'll see you in the next video. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius.